And the meditation that we're going to do tonight is the advantages and the proper reliance and the disadvantages of not properly relying on a spiritual guide or a spiritual teacher. So I think there's like 8 advantages and 8 disadvantages. So if you've read the material, maybe you know it. So we'll just kind of, I mean, we don't have a lot of time, but we just go through it and contemplate each of the points. And I think it's intended to make a more profound imprint into our mind about why it's an advantage to have a spiritual teacher and why it's a disadvantage of not having a spiritual teacher. So they're good points to think about. So I think when we do it in the meditation, we kind of we sink into it a bit, but I think they're definitely points that you can come back to during your day, randomly as you kind of contemplate your situations that you're going through in your samsaric life. So we just start by finding a comfortable position, whether you're on a cushion or a chair, and arranging your body in a way that you can keep it for this 20 minutes rather comfortably. And you just kind of bring your attention to your body just sitting here, and kind of the weight of the body sitting on the cushion. And slowly bring your attention to your breath. The sensation of the expanding and the contraction of your abdomen or your torso, or wherever you feel the breath. It's not important how I feel it or you feel it. It's not relevant. But wherever you feel that sensation of breath, could be at the tip of your nose. Just sit there and observe it for a moment. No other thoughts, no other distractions. Just the breath. And now, having calmed the mind a bit, to bring it into the space with the practice, we bring to our attention our motivation. So of course we have, in the Mahayana tradition, we have this altruistic motivation to benefit others, to benefit all sentient beings. But for this meditation, we can think about the motivation that without a spiritual guide, there's no way to escape from an ocean of cyclic existence. And therefore, it's very difficult to reach enlightenment without a spiritual guide. We can also think that The spiritual guide is the foundation of all the paths to liberation from samsara. And it's essential to have, it's essential to achieve these states of mind. So you can think that you're not just meditating for your own well-being, but you're meditating for the peace of mind of others, so they can accumulate vast merit. And so that every single individual, every sentient being in this entire universe will meet their spiritual teacher. So that's a powerful motivation. So now with this motivation, we contemplate these first 8 advantages of bringing a spiritual teacher into our practice and relying on them. So the first advantage is that they will bring you closer to Buddhahood. So by practicing their instructions and making offerings and serving the spiritual teacher, they will take you in the direction and closer to Buddhahood. And the second advantage is that it actually pleases the Buddhas. So we can think that all the Buddhas in all the 10 directions, they're willing to teach us the Dharma. And you don't have to have the karma even to be seen in the Nirmanakaya, but all the Buddhas that appear as ordinary beings with pure karma. So by taking a spiritual teacher, this pleases them. And it's also said that if you don't rely on a spiritual teacher or the Buddhas, no matter how many offerings you make to the Buddhas, it won't be a benefit. So you have to have the reliance together with the offerings. The third advantage is it will not be disturbed by non-humans or bad groups or groups that don't live a virtuous life. The fourth advantage is that you will automatically stop to put a stop to all delusions and misdeeds. And the fifth one, what we probably really hope happens, is that relying on a teacher will give us insights and realizations and develop us on the levels on the path to enlightenment. So you have progress in your spiritual practice. And the sixth advantage is quite important. If we don't become enlightened in this life, the sixth advantage is that we won't be deprived of meeting spiritual teachers in the future, in our future lives. So we make it a connection. And they'll always be there with us from life to life. The seventh advantage is that we'll not fall into lower realms. And then the eighth advantage is that it will effortlessly achieve all short and long-term goals. So it makes everything easy. All of our goals become easy. All of our virtuous goals become easy. And now we contemplate all the 8 disadvantages of not practicing proper reliance on a spiritual guide. So the first disadvantage is that if we accidentally disparage our spiritual teacher, then we actually insult the Buddhas. We don't want to insult the Buddhas. We want to have great respect for them. And the second disadvantage is that when you have angry thoughts towards your spiritual teacher, then you destroy the root virtue, or the merit. And this is a cause for being born in the hell realm. So getting angry with your guru or your spiritual teacher is destroys the positive karma and results in being born in the hell realm. The third disadvantage is that you'll not achieve enlightenment. Even if you're doing like advanced practices or tantric practices, it's just not possible. And then the fourth disadvantage is that even if we seek the benefits of Tantra, then your practice, it won't achieve anything other than results of rebirths in the lower realm. And then the fifth disadvantage is that we won't develop fresh qualities or virtuous qualities. And whatever qualities that we have, they'll start to degenerate. And then the sixth disadvantage is that we'll be completely absorbed with illness within this life. And then the seventh disadvantage is that we end up wandering endlessly in the lower realms because we don't have a guide. And then the eighth disadvantage is we're completely deprived of spiritual teachers in our future lives. So if we don't make that connection, then in the future lives, it's more difficult to find them. There'll be fewer. So listening to these advantages and disadvantages of the spiritual teacher, we can make a determination in our mind in order to reach enlightenment, in order to achieve the purposes of self and others, and aspire to never be separated from the Dharma. And make a determination to always have a healthy relationship with our spiritual teachers. And maybe that's it. Maybe it's this aspiration to make that connection with the spiritual teacher and have a healthy relationship. And having that aspiration and that thought in mind, we dedicate the merits that we generated during this meditation. And we dedicate it to all the sentient beings that we encounter, to all of our qualified teachers in this life and in all our future lives. And we wish that we never be separated from them. Never, ever. So that we can continue to receive the pure Dharma teachings. And we can wish that our precious teachers, they have long and healthy lives, and all their Dharma projects, all of their compassion for sentient beings, they come to fruition as quickly as possible without any obstacles. Thank you very much.